As some of you know, PokeyPoke is a video game I've been working on for quite a long time. I made a 48-hour jam game back in 2018 that looked something like this. Since then, I've been working with the same thrown together via Twitter team to try and work to turn this really cool mechanic into something larger. Specifically, while not the biggest game I've ever worked on, it's the biggest game I've ever led development on. So I'm in many ways kind of out of my depth and having to work out how to plan and execute something bigger and more complicated than anything I've ever done before. And I've been trying to do that while simultaneously running a YouTube channel and a Patreon and doing freelance work and struggling with undiagnosed ADHD at the time, and yeah, I'd get the odd day where I could work on the game, but it's been the bottom priority for a really long time. Something else came up, or I needed a finished video, or whatever it was always, well, I guess PokeyPoke development can take the hit. And when I finally got around to working on the game, it really felt like I got very little actually done. I'd spent most of my time reacquainting myself with the project, where I was, what my priorities were, and what I needed to do next. Sometimes I even built scripts and functions that I literally already written but just forgotten about. It really started to feel like I should give up this project and focus on smaller things I could actually ship. You know, the advice I give to people quite regularly in my live streams. But I really liked this game, and I really wanted to see it done someday. I knew I had the experience and the skill to actually do it. I knew the scope was high, but reasonable for me and my skill set and my experience. Not to mention how much artwork my artist and composer have put into the game. Their skill set's improving so much year on year. So recently I've changed up my approach, and I've been working on the game week on, week off for a little while now, spending all the rest of the time on my channel and not taking on any freelance work or extra gigs. And finally, there's some real momentum there. Because that's the killer, and a lot of you hobbyists out there will know this well. If you can't work on a game regularly, every time you come back to it, you forget what you were doing. Coding style might have evolved, you forget what your variables were called, how your systems interact, you lose momentum. So even the way I'm working on the game now, like week on, week off, that's a difficult challenge. But it's the only way I can work on the game sustainably, using the lessons I learned to fuel content for my channel and keep as much momentum on the project as I can. And as a result, the game is going really well as of late. We're finally thoroughly out of pre-production and all the prototyping of all the game's final mechanics, and we're getting to the real production meat. The game is feeling really good. We've got some positive results from playtesting. We have a pseudo MVP, or minimum viable product, of the game, which we released as a public demo on Steam. This is something I've not really seen developers do, and probably for good reason. The slice of the game you can play right now is quite different from even the game today. It's not even an alpha build really, so there's the danger of putting off players who aren't impressed with something that's really incomplete and not just liking content. But it was solid enough and captured enough of the spirit that I thought it would be worth it. And some of the feedback and support we've gotten, and the speedrunning community that's built around the demo, makes me think it's been really worth it to do it. Bit of a weird gamble on my part though, for sure. But hey, if you want to play it, you can. It's a good demo, link in the description. The game has come a long way. We've hit some real major milestones recently, and I want to keep that momentum going. That's the takeaway for this video, I think. What I've learned is how important momentum is to a project, and it gets more important the larger and more complex that project is. You don't need too much momentum for a sprint, but you need quite a lot for a marathon. We always talk about starting small in game development and the problems of scope creep, and that's good advice, and it's a huge issue, but small games don't teach you how to make large games. I've made dozens of jam games. What I'm learning now is a lot about making a larger game, and today my advice, take it or leave it, keep momentum on your game. Even if you do a tiny bit every day, every other day, the more often you can just open the project and keep your brain near the space where it has access to the code and the structure and the variable names and what have you, the more potential each one of those little sessions will have, and it'll start to add up quite quickly. Now, there's a lot more to escaping development hell than that. Even PokeyPoke's particular hell had more to it than that. And, well, the game isn't out yet. A lot of it came down to real planning work, which I've taken my own ADHD-friendly approach to that, which has helped a lot, and maybe I can cover that in another video. A lot of things can keep your game stuck, but momentum is a big one for sure. If people are interested in it, I'd like to do some more videos talking about the process for PokeyPoke so far, things I've learned working on the game, the design decisions, things we've changed and why, even perhaps some of the more technical side of things. I've done that before with some videos on my channel, for example, talking about the new surprisingly lightweight light and shadow renderer I hand wrote specifically for the game. Check that out if you're interested. It's a really powerful technique if you can get it going. But I don't always necessarily know what you guys want to see, so let me know. YouTube comments and all that good stuff. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.